What? Go the route of what?
DSP, Dark Side Field.
Oh,
It's
okay. Just more
Martin, he
made up
went
Martin
live.
words. I know.
He's trying.
This is where the fun is. This is where you need to go. Where we talk about films and help you get to know. So stick around with Tom and Gerry here on Pop Culture Minefield. And help you get to know, so stick around for Tom and Gerry here on Pop Culture Minefield. So stick around for Tom and Gerry here on Pop Culture Minefield. Tom and Gerry here on Pop Culture Minefield.
There you go.
Nice new intro. But you know what?
No.
It should end with. It
A lot
should
of
end
kind
with.
black people. That's all I can say.
No, it should end with Dodge saying, "Stick around."
Well, I thought about even like cracking in there. It's like, and these are the movies we will never have on this show.
Hold it.
What?
Hold it.
The freak are you saying?
I have no idea what the fuck you're saying.
I was doing Eddie Murphy. Hold it.
Oh, hold it. Hold it.
Yeah.
Hold it. Yeah, he takes the L out. Hold it. Sort of like the way Mr. T says children. Chitrin.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that episode of the A-Team. I just kept asking my dad, why did he say it like that? He says, nothing makes me angrier than neglecting children. And I'm like, the fuck is chitrin? My dad says he's saying children because I didn't know what the fuck he said.
Maybe he's saying Chilton. Maybe he's a big Silence of the Lambs fan.
Who knows? But I got a couple of good clips from this film, Tom. I'll play them, I guess, accordingly at the scene when we get to them.
Axel, you've stolen this house. How do you steal a house?
It's my uncle's house. I know, that's so fucking funny. I don't have that clip, but I love that line. Like, how the fuck do you steal a house?
Get your mad ass in this pool.
Because Anima was so confused. Like, she's like, why is he selling? He's undercover and he's saying he's a policeman. I said, he's not a policeman. He is with the how, what is it? The housing or construction.
Beverly Hills building inspector.
Building inspector. That was it.
Yeah, he's pretending to be that. But don't you dare shit on me. I've just worked a full week.
I'm not shitting on you. I'm saying you couldn't understand that. It was just, you were just not understanding what was going on there.
No, because every time you see an undercover cop, he will not show his ass anywhere near police to not blow his cover.
Well, he's technically not undercover. He's out of his jurisdiction.
There you go. And that's what I told her.
Yeah. Technically, he's not really a cop either.
I know he's from Detroit, but still, he's interacting with gangsters in LA, and then he's
in his regular job. You're right. I can see where that could be confusing to some people, I guess. Yeah.
That's my name.
Two other things I wanted to point. One of them particularly, if you're doing a daytime robbery heist, you would not be firing suppressed weapons because you're
God, that was stupid.
telling everybody
Well,
within a
that
mile.
is kind of part of the plot too, though, is like the fact that Charles pulled that stunt the way he did. That's what got him in trouble in the first place. That's kind of part of the plot.
Okay.
Because remember, they say he's just as stupid as he is clumsy or something like that. I can't remember exactly how they put it, but yeah.
Yeah, that was General Hosel.
Because he's the one who got him caught because he used their own guns from their own gun club and their own fucking yeah.
You
I'm
fucking
using
idiot.
a freaking
Right.
automag. Using
Oh yeah. This has got to
That
be the only movie. This has got to be the only movie I've ever seen where a Wildcat cartridge, the 44 automatic Magnum, is a key primary clue in the story. Because that is one esoteric
Very
yes,
obscure.
cartridge. Holy
Very,
crap.
very obscure. And it even
Yeah.
questioned like, how does Axel F even know that?
Because he's from Detroit. There's a lot of guns in Detroit.
Mostly,
Yeah.
mostly 9 and 7 millimeter. You know, it's such
Well,
an
like he says in the
obscure
movie,
thing.
it's not something shit you see every day.
Right.
He's Johnny Wishbone.
Johnny Wishbone. This is actually one of the funniest
Saying
moments.
destroyed,
is,
yeah, Johnny Wishbone.
if you need me, just think.
Nakaburani.
But hey, we got a good audience going on right now. We got our good friend Andy Morrow in the chat. Lord Thoth, all hail Lord Thoth. Let's see. Slasher
That's not
Fred
my
is
car.
here.
That's my wife's car.
Yeah. Speaking of
Bitch!
Mr. T, there used to be in the 80s a Mr. T cartoon. Of course there was. I love that
Yeah.
show. I used to watch it with my kid. War Monkey is here. So if we need to go to war, we do have a War Monkey. E. Clay Thomason is here. Good friend, this channel. Ham Dinger is here. I don't know if I know Ham Dinger. Do any of
I
him?
think that's a
yes,
new
he has
person.
been here before.
Yeah.
He has
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't
Banana in my
remember that.
tailpipe. And he changed that because originally it
You
was
gonna fall
potato.
off in a banana in my tailpipe? See,
Yeah, he
that-
came
that
up
don't
with
sound
doing a
natural.
banana. They said, why a banana? He says, because it's funny.
Man,
Potato
Tom,
and funny.
Tom, you do that dialect so well. You really
Oh,
sound
Eddie,
like him.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, he's
I didn't
spent his
know-
entire life doing Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I know.
I didn't know Eddie Murphy could do a lot of things like that. I was surprised.
Oh my God,
watching
he's
the
an
movie.
incredible impersonator.
Yes, I'm here to see Victor Maitland.
You're awesome.
I need to talk to
Idiot
him about
acting up
something.
again.
And that's Damon Wayans that
I
plays
just got
the
back from the clinic and
waiter.
I found out I have herpes simplex 10.
Slurpee Simplex 10 is crazy. But that a lot of people know that's Damon Wayans that's interacting
Oh,
with him in
the
that scene.
banana. Yeah, and this one you got
Yeah.
Chris Rock and
Yes.
Gilbert
The
Godfrey
barking.
doing the cameos, but yeah.
Like Gilbert Gottfried in this is fantastic. If I were
Yeah.
holding something in this hand, and it would make you forget what is in my other hand.
What you
That
mean,
scene
like
was so
$200? Ouch!
Oh.
I'm robbing you.
Ouch, let go of my arm, something like that. That
Yeah.
is so
Oh, there
great.
goes my arm. Yeah.
How they make him panic and then he's glad to leave the office and leave them to his computer. What a fucking idiot.
Well, that's
I
why
do-
Eddie's charm works. Yeah.
We got a
He's
backdoor
panicking
breach.
because of
We got a
the ticket.
backdoor breach.
Uh-oh.
Going out.
Breach by Keely Child.
Bandit, this is Little Beaver. Put your foot on the floor, we got your back door, and I'm cleared.
That's a 10-4.
Got your back door. So
What
there
would
you
you
go.
say if
got
I
your-
told you there's a 6-foot blonde working here?
It's
Axel, this is
California.
California.
Yeah.
6-foot blondes grow on
6 foot-
trees.
They grow on trees.
He's kind of right, Axel. They're everywhere.
Hey, so
By the
Assassin.
way,
Billy
this
is great.
by
in this
far
movie,
the
too,
most
yeah.
stylized and best looking of all the Beverly Hill Cop.
Well, it's Tony Scott, the good kid.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Like-
Gerry.
Hey, Soul Assassin.
Compare
No, I
this-
actually said something about that. I love Tony Scott as a director. I consider him, of the two, Ridley's a good cinematographer and Tony's an actual director. He understands.
Oh, God,
story.
yes. But one of my
And-
favorite quotes of his is this less is more. That's bullshit. More is more.
More is more.
That's
Well, I
what
also
you, yeah,
like
this,
a lot of people complained about the sex scene in Top Gun. I said, yeah, but Tony didn't want to do it. So if he had to do it, he's going to do it his way. Backlit. That scene, the love scene is backlit because he
I
thought it
thought
was,
women love that scene though.
they do. They do. But
So they
he
just shut
didn't
up
feel
and have a Coke and a
he
spa
didn't
and
feel
shut
it
the
was in
fuck
the
up.
story. He felt it wasn't part of the story, but he says, if I have to do it, I'll do it my way. And he shot it backlit. And I thought that was a
That's what
pretty
I'm saying.
clever
So what's
move.
everybody complaining about? Women like it. That's what matters, right? Doesn't matter
Take my
what
breath
guys
away.
think about it.
I mean,
The most
scene
romantic
guys-
scene to guys is "I love you." I know.
Yeah.
No, the most
That is
romantic
the
scene in
most
Top
fucked up
Gun
thing you
for
can
men.
say when someone tells you I love you.
It's I know, and he even said
You
that.
could
He
say,
said
you could say
What
thank
the-
you.
But
one
it's
thing
Harrison
that
Ford. It's Han Solo, so he gets away with it.
Now,
That's-
what is the last thing that is your man is about to freeze and maybe die to say to you when you tell a woman, tell you as a woman, tell a man that you love them? And he said, I know. And that was what he thought was funny. He thought that was funny. And I get it. It's like, that's Han Solo. Not tripping
Well,
on a twig and
not only
giving his
that,
position away.
and this is where George didn't get it, and he wanted to cut out the scene to begin with and change it to just "I love you too" or whatever, was because the entire movie, Han's going, "I love you, you know you love me too," through the whole movie, right? And finally, she admits that she loves him. Of course, he's going to say, "Well, yeah, duh, I knew it all along." You know?
Yeah, it was like exactly. It's like he's kind of saying his own way, I've known all along that you were. So I like that. It's one of my favorite. It's romantic to a guy.
To a guy,
Women-
it makes sense. Yeah.
Not to a woman.
Women
You
don't.
Not,
need
well,
to-
some women actually found it very romantic, but yeah.
That's like what movie was that? Fuck. Where he doesn't even look back or kiss her, he just walks away. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh,
Big
you're talking
Trouble.
about
Big
Big Trouble,
Trouble.
Little China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Aren't you
yeah.
even gonna kiss
awesome.
her?
That
Aren't
was
you even gonna
awesome.
kiss her? Hold on. Aren't you even gonna kiss her goodbye? Nope. And then he turned.
He was so annoyed with that.
I thought that was hilarious. That was a perfect John Wayne ending.
Because you are
John
a
Wayne
guy.
riding away, going, nope.
I'm a girl, and I'm like, fuck you, dude. Never come back. Don't bother. I mean,
I mean, it's Han Solo. Women already love him, so
Hot Shot sex scene was better. I don't even remember. Didn't they kind of make fun of 9.5 weeks with the food and stuff?
A little.
the
In
how
Hot
they did
Shots,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so.
and
It's been
and there's
years
just
Well,
since
we're
I've
here
seen
to
it. I
talk
seem to
about
remember
one
that.
of the greatest sequels of all time, and it has everything a sequel should have. Beverly Hills Cop
Dog
2.
barking. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, there's some
Okay.
dogs barking in the movie. But yeah, I mean, it almost didn't happen at all. They wanted to do a TV series first, but cooler heads prevailed and said, nah, we need to do a movie. And this ended up becoming Paramount's tentpole movie for '87 because they really didn't have anything else that year, I guess. And they took the director of their biggest film of the year before, Top Gun, and they threw him in this movie. And yeah, because I don't even know if they even to be honest with you, I don't even know if they offered Marty Brest the sequel. But it just turned out great. I mean, honestly, the weird thing is this movie made about, I think, half the money the first movie did. But I swear this movie had probably more. It feels like this movie had more of an impact on the 80s even than the first film did. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it was like, I don't know. This movie felt like twice of everything the first movie was across the board. Like,
Well, I know I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm kind of surprised that it didn't do as well as the first film. 'Cause I thought it was as good as the first one.
well, the first movie was the biggest film of '84 in a huge year of films.
Yes. I think this one. I think the first film had a better soundtrack because I owned the soundtrack.
Actually, this one didn't do much less than the first film. But yeah, the soundtrack was amazing too.
The
Harold
core of the
Faltermeyer's theme is so 1980s. It just, and that's why I'm so excited that they're keeping the theme in the new film.
It's an Ewan.
What, Axel F?
Yes.
Well, yeah, don't mess with that. That's like making Harry Potter 6 and screwing around with the soundtrack.
That's what I'm worried about. I didn't care so much for part 3 because they had Nile Rodgers just come in and, redo the music. And then in the new one, I've heard a piece of the score already, and I'm like sitting here listening to it. I'm going, yeah, where's Harold Faltermeyer? What the hell is he doing lately? And the funny thing is I don't know what happened or why he's not doing the music for it, but when we were going to interview him, the one thing we couldn't ask him about was Axel F. And it's like, wait, what?
It's like George Lucas. It's like, you can't talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, you can't ask him about Star Wars. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's like when I went to that dinner with David Lynch, and I was a guest by Ron and Judy, and they brought me along. And then right when we were getting out of the car, they're like, by the way, you can't talk about Dune. And I'm like, that's why I came here to this dinner, so I could talk to him about Dune.
What the hell am I supposed to ask him about? Running Man? What the hell? Like
Elephant Man, or I could talk to him about Eraserhead, but I just quiet.
Well, at least with Lynch, there's a few more things you could talk to him. And I love Harold Faltermeyer, but what? Top Gun and Beverly Hills Cop are what he's known best for. Let's be real. And being mistaken for Miami Vice.
Yeah.
What? Jan Hammer was Miami Vice, right?
I know, yeah, but I've had to correct so many people because I think the same person did both. Oh, I love this stuff. The credit cards. I need a lot this time. Now we went past Shakedown, but the funny thing is that song was actually written for Glenn Frey.
That was Glenn Frey, right? Yeah.
And he lost his voice, and they needed the song done within a certain period of time, so they brought in Bob Seger. And funnily enough, believe it or not, just like with Aerosmith, it was Bob Seger's first #1 single. Kind of like how Aerosmith didn't have a #1 single until they did the song for Armageddon.
Right.
Believe it or not, of all the hits they've had, they never had a #1. Finally got a #1. And Shakedown was Bob Seger's, I think, only #1 hit.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So
I know that's
even
harder to believe, isn't it?
The song
It
you did
is.
that they used in Tom Cruise's film where he
I
slides.
know. I thought it was a #1, and I
You'd
looked it
think
up. It's
that
like,
would've
no,
been.
it hit like I think
Huh?
2 or 3, but yeah, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, quotes from The Raven Nevermore is here with the post Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte in 48 Hours and another 48 Hours are great movie. Question: Beverly Hills Cop both made in the same year, and they were filmed within a year of each other. Beverly Hills Cop and
Another,
was still
48 Hours is 82. Beverly Hills Cop was 84.
84, so it's a 2-year difference. Okay,
Yeah, he did Trading Places in 83, I think it was.
which I love that movie. We need to do that one.
Yeah. Yeah, Beverly Hills, 48 Hours was Eddie Murphy's break in the movies.
He did Best Defense in between two.
Oh yeah, nobody wants to watch that movie again.
Yeah.
Him and what's his name? Dudley Moore. What a terrible.
I don't hate Best Defense, actually.
Hey.
Yeah.
See you, Glenn.
Bye, Glenn.
Paul Reiser. Talk to Ma. She doesn't like you. What did you tell her? I told her about you. Why?
Man, Paul Reiser, this is like the height of his career between this and Alien.
Not to be a spoiler or anything, but he is in the new one. I think he's in the trailer. So,
he's a new chief.
Supposed to be the chief now,
yeah, he's
right?
in. Is he? Yeah, I think they gave that away. I didn't want to spoil it for anybody who didn't want to. Yeah.
Well, they show it in the trailer.
Well, and he actually plays a pretty big role in the film, I guess, too. Not like being in the film so much, but like overall
He was in this
the
one
plot.
quite a bit. which kind of made me happy because I like his character.
Yeah.
And the scene when he's pretending to be
Jeffrey, I'm not listening to you. La 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 la. I hate it when
La,
you do
la.
this. It's so childish. Then why do you keep talking? I am not listening to you. Just drive the car around, just stoop down low so nobody knows it's me. You, they think it's me. But hey, you know what? Take Marcy. Take Marcy out in the car. I was supposed to take her out this weekend. She wanted to go out with me. She wanted to go out with the car.
The best duck down moment in film history is the Real Genius.
When I'm going deep undercover. I'm deep now, but I'm going deep, deep, deep undercover.
He does the hands thing, deep, deep, deep undercover.
You sign that, and then you'll be like, "Where's Axel? I don't even know. He'd be gone."
I'm impressed, like just things they did, especially like they have the shades down. They're doing like the whole Nor lighting thing.
That's Tony.
Like, yeah, this movie didn't need it.
This looks like a Tony Scott film thrown through.
Yeah. He even Slasher Fred. He even mentions that a couple of times in the film. He before he became a cop, he fractured a couple of laws.
Yeah. So Slasher is suggesting that the character he plays in 48 Hours is the reformed version.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, in my head canon, him and his buddy that got killed in the first movie, they always, they grew up getting in trouble, but he got out of the, he didn't get in trouble for boosting the car. His buddy did. But I always figured at some point he probably got in trouble, and Todd was probably the guy who caught him. And Todd probably gave him the police academy choice.
Yeah.
Either you go to jail or you go, because he probably conned him. And he probably thought this kid would be good because he keeps saying that shit about him, right? He's like, he's a great detective and he's really good at undercover, right? And why is he good at undercover? Because he's really good at coming up with these elaborate characters and controlling a situation. So like in my head canon at some point, he ran into Todd, and Todd kind of gave him this choice, and that's where he became a cop. Because otherwise, why does it make sense why Axel would become a cop? That's just my head canon. That's why that character meant so much to him, especially by the time you get to the third film. And the way he talks about Axel, even in the first film, it's like he has that fatherly kind of thing over him in that way. It's just, I don't know. That's the way in my head canon it always worked.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And by the way, Brigitte Nielsen looks better as a brunette.
I can't believe how good she pulled off an English or American accent in this movie. Have you ever listened to her talk?
You're giving her an American name. Of course, she has to talk American, right?
Well, no, but I mean, just in general, she has a hard time talking English in general. Like the fact that she pulled off this, I was noticing it this time. I'm just like, yeah, she did a pretty good job in this one. I mean, well, she can speak English, but I mean, even now it feels like her accent is more thicker than it was back then, is my point. But she did a really good job of hiding her accent in this movie.
Well, she's focused when she's filming.
It's probably her best role outside of Red Sonja, if you think about it.
Well, I'm gonna bet again that Stallone is why, because he probably paid for her to have.
Oh, he hovers over this film so heavy. This is him and Eddie got into a fight over this movie because Stallone accused him of sleeping with Brigitte.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, we talked about the history of the whole Sylvester Stallone was originally going to be in
cast for Beverly. I mean, the first.
What I love about this movie is they actually have the Cobra poster in it as a nod, if you get it, and then and then, of course, Billy's character is obsessed with Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Rosewood. Yep.
Jesus, Billy.
All the guns in the back. Fucking.
They say that like 10 times. I love Billy. This is another one where your buddy from school, Gerry, gets this is probably one of
Judge Reinhold.
Like him in this movie alone, just his character in it is amazing because he's this man child of a cop, but he loves being a cop, right? Like that's the thing. So like, he pulls it off great.
It's funny the trunks and the guns in the trunk. The guns in the trunk came from a making of documentary for the first film. where the first time Eddie Murphy, or who was it? Yeah, Judge Reinhold. So it was Judge Reinhold. The producer was showing off his collection of guns in the trunk of his car, and Judge Reinhold went, "That'd be great." And he was like, "You gotta put that in the movie. You gotta put that in the movie. I need a trunk full of guns."
You're the fucking guy with the truckload of cigarettes that day. I thought that was you. You almost got busted. I did get busted. I want to do business with you, but I ain't do no business in front of him because this dude is a cop and I'm Muslim. I can smell pork. That's definitely pork.
Was this peak Eddie Murphy or what?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he was the hottest he'd ever been at this point, man. I mean, the only thing he had before this, and part of the reason I think he did Cop 2, because that's why they talked. I guess I didn't finish that story. The reason they were thinking about doing a TV show is because Eddie was at this point where he refused to do sequels. He didn't, because they wanted to do another 48 Hours for years. He said no. I think they even tried to push him into doing Trading Places sequel, and he said no. And of course, when Beverly Hills Cop became, one of Paramount's, I think if not Paramount's highest grossing film of all time at that point, they had to do something with Beverly Hills Cop, but he's like, no, I'm not interested in doing a part 2. And he went off and did Golden Child. And,
There's an incentive.
Yeah. So as they were fumbling and tumbling, trying to do a TV show of it, because I think it was what's his face who plays not Billy, the other one.
Taggart.
I haven't ate. Taggart. Yeah, I haven't ate yet today. I got to eat. Jesus, I shouldn't be stumbling this much. He had said that they were part of the show. Or maybe it was Judge Reinhold who said this, but he's like, they were part of the show, but they felt like, if they ever did want to do a sequel, it would cheapen it, and they couldn't find a guy who could stand in for Eddie, who was as funny as Eddie. So it just kind of sat there and floundered until, finally the sequel came to be because Eddie decided he was going to do it. And I think the only reason he did it is because Golden Child fell flat on its face. I mean, it did okay in the box office, but as we all know, as like Red Shirt just laughed there. Anybody who was around in the 80s, everybody forgot about Best Defense. Nobody forgot about how bad Golden Child did. Even if you like the movie,
I love the movie. I actually love it.
It's a great film, but it was the wrong movie for Eddie movie at that time, I think, was the problem. It's around the same time as Big Trouble in Little China, and for some reason those kind of movies just were falling out of vogue, or whatever you want to call it, with the audience. Now later on they would find an audience, and I would say that Golden Child gets a lot of love now compared to back then, but it was just probably the wrong movie at the wrong time, and I think he just got scared.
Saturdays, because
I think he got scared and he just went and did it. So yeah.
And the thing that's weird about it is because of what he does for a living, and the humor and that aspect really didn't gel well together. And so I think it flopped in that direction. But with the devil, when he's approaching, he calls him Noomsy, and I just fucking cracked up loud.
I can't remember the actor's name, but he's great. Yeah,
it's Charles Dance.
Charles Dance, thank you. Yes,
Dance is so good as that devil demon character. It's fucking great. Noomsy, he does it with the accent, everything he says is just fucking funny. Golden Child is the only one of his earlier films I haven't seen. It's a film you should check out, War Monkey.
It just, like I said, the timing of it was bad. And so I think this was his comeback. He tried to make like a comeback movie out of this, which it worked in spades, along with, you gotta remember, this is also the same year Raw came out. So 87 was a big year for Eddie. Yeah,
he did that gag too in there that was funny with the rotating poles, and you can only talk while it's spinning. And then he does a rap. It's like, fuck, man. Acting like it's a record that he's scratching. Fucking funny.
Give me the knife.
Give me the knife. The Heat is this one had the song "Shakedown" by Bob Seger.
Yep.
Yeah, and it
As we
was
pointed
originally
out.
meant for Glenn Frey.
Yep.
And it's totally, if you listen to it, that's totally a Glenn Frey type song.
But I think it was Red Shirt or Shinatsky who brought up the soundtrack to this one earlier too. And yeah, this is a great freaking soundtrack. I don't know if I could say it's better than the first one. It's close. Like you got Shakedown and some, and you know, I
You
Want
get
Your
the
Sex by
two
George
songs that play in the
Michael.
titty bar. Yeah, George Michael.
And
Boy,
there's
I
the
hope
Corey
somebody,
Hart song and a couple
caught
other ones that
those
were decent.
titties. Sure hope somebody cut those titties. In that
I don't
one
think this
scene.
had as many top 10 hits as the first one did. The Pointer Sisters song
No.
in this one's okay, but it's not as good as the first one. And you had no Patti LaBelle on this one, surprisingly. But yeah, no, there's some good tunes on this one. Like I said, you had the George Michael song that was a big hit. Shakedown, of course, was a big hit. You had the Steve Winwood song? That one did okay, I think. The Jets song did pretty well. But you barely hear it in the movie. Yeah, there was a few good hits on the album. It was a good album.
What I find interesting about like this is that there's a character type here that's really popular, but you don't see too often, which is like kind of the good trickster. Because the only ones I can think of off the top of my head is, of course, Axel, Saul Goodman, and Loki in the Avengers movies. Like those are
Fletch.
the only like three major ones I can think of. I haven't seen Fletch, so.
Oh, well, Fletch is basically Chevy Chase as Axel F. It really is. That's all it is. It was. He's like, I want to do one of those.
And Eddie Murphy's still better at it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Chevy's fun, but yeah, he's no Eddie. Stop what you're doing. If you do this, there'll be no right angles on this house. It'll be like a donut. These people want to live in a circle. Let them live in a circle.
Can somebody clean up some of this shit before you leave? Oh.
You know what's funny? I noticed that the bad guys never went after him at his house because he gave him their address too.
Yeah.
They follow him around, but they never actually go to the house.
I wonder if a scene got.
I wonder too, because the only deleted scene I know of is the one that's in the trailer. I don't know if everybody remembers, because Tony Scott can actually take credit for the first movie to ever use the laser beam security system thing, because they still weren't technically reality yet then, but it got cut out of the movie, but it's in all the trailers. But then it's in all sorts of movies ever since then. I don't know if you guys remember the scene. They actually use it for the TV version, but yeah.
That's something we should look up, because it might have been in the original script and just never got shot.
I'm wondering too, because I was thinking that last night for the first time ever watching this movie. I'm like, wait a minute. He just made a big mistake. I can't even believe Axel made that mistake, giving them their address, giving his where he's staying at. And then they don't even go after him at his house. Like I was expecting, I'm like, yeah, in any other movie, this would be the scene where he comes home and there'd be somebody there waiting for him or whatever, or he'd be getting in a fight. And that's when Billy and Taggart would show up to save him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Or he could have set traps and that could have been the whole thing.
Or whatever, yeah. I mean, that could have been fun to see with the whole, the construction site stuff. Yeah. That'd have been fun.
Eddie Murphy does Home Alone.
Right?
Wet bandits.
Yeah.
More like the dirty bandits.
I mean, otherwise, maybe there was a scene of them waiting outside of his place while he was over at Billy's, because that's the thing. From when they leave the club, they go straight to Billy's house. So maybe they did, and it got cut. It's hard to say. You're right. But no, it's a pretty tight movie overall. Otherwise, that's what I was because the first movie is almost watertight. Like I was I watched both of these last night trying to find any flaws with them, because to me, Beverly Hills Cop is one of my favorite films of all time. And the second one, a lot of people say, oh, of course, it's not as good as the first one. And I agree. But it's a more polished, stylized movie than the first one is. The first movie feels like that, when a band gets started and it's, the album that they record in their garage. That's what it kind of feels like. This one feels like their first studio album, if that makes sense. And I know I make those kind of comparisons all the time, but yeah.
This is one of the best sequels that's ever been made. because of that.
Yeah.
Because
I would agree.
okay, we're not going to recapture the magic. We're not going to introduce you to Axel F. You already know who he is. We're just going to make a movie that really works with his character. And they did. They did.
Yeah, they didn't reinvent the wheel. They just made it fancier, basically, or how you want to put it.
Exactly. And you it looks like a more expensive film. I don't know whether it was,
Mhm.
but it looks like it.
Yeah. Yeah, they had like, I think, twice or three times the budget for this one. Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, because Paramount threw all
Axel-
their money at it. Yeah. They're like,
Yeah.
Axe also has a way stronger motivation. The first movie, I mean,
I think
my
Eddie
friend got
alone
shot
got
in
like,
the hospitals, but is not as engaging as my best friend was killed in front of me by these assholes, and I'm gonna make them pay.
yeah. Well, and you got to remember, I think Eddie got like a $5 or so million payday for this at that time, which was one of the
He's
biggest
a producer.
paydays.
His production company.
Yeah, that and all that business. Yeah.
He got everything.
No, it's a big movie. And I was wrong. I guess it made more than I thought it did. It did better internationally than I thought. What about me? What about my daughters? Monique and Unique. With pigtails.
Monique and Unique. I fucking died when he said that.
It's $10. What am I supposed to do with $10?
Buy a coffee.
$20. That's 4 shoes.
And it's a good
$5
point,
shoe.
in this one, Rosewood and Taggart are not antagonistic. The antagonist in this is their commanding officer, who's just an abusive prick.
Well,
Oh,
Billy
yeah.
and Rosewood switch from being antagonists pretty early on in the film. Like
Because
after the
they like him. They grow
yeah.
like him.
well, not just that, yeah. Because they get pulled off the case as soon as they fuck up with the banana scene, right? So they're only following him for the first few minutes of the movie. It's those other two cops that are following him through the rest of the movie, and then they're present, or they actually kind of get what he's up to, and then he kind of spills the beans there, yeah. And they have that scene because they like him because of that scene in the strip club, right?
Right.
Like, because that's when Taggart realizes, oh, this guy is a good cop.
Oh yeah, Tom. According to what I'm looking up, the first movie made 234 million. The second one made 299 million. So it did make more money.
Yeah,
So-
that's a wrong. There's some fucking shit with that. The first movie actually made like 300 and some million. I don't think that has the worldwide gross in it.
all right.
Yeah, or they split it up. That's a weird thing because the first movie has some because it got released at the very end of '84. So a lot of charts put it in '85 for some reason, and they split up the amount of money. It's weird. I've looked it up,
weird.
and because for the
Okay.
longest time, yeah, I'll double check to where I could find it again, where the actual numbers are for it. But yeah.
Oh, look, it's
I hate
Gerry
when
Murphy.
shit like that happens.
Yeah, it's just because it happened. The first movie,
Yeah,
believe it or
remake.
not, came out at the 316 is what it's made worldwide. The first movie. I was gonna say I knew it was over 300 because it was Paramount's highest grossing movie at that time, and it
Okay,
just
Tom.
beat Top Gun, I think.
Martin wants you to see that Eddie Murphy's face blends with mine here.
Gerry Murphy.
Gary Murphy.
It does. I see that. It looks like I'm looking over his shoulder, guiding his gun.
There's some really
Oh.
good music in this movie that like the titty bar scene. It has that George Michael song. It was the first move towards him breaking away from Wham.
Yeah. Well, it's on the same album that Faith is on, so I think he already had
Yeah.
the Faith song out there, but yeah.
Yeah, and this for me was pure gear porn. The 44 Automag. Oh, come on.
Well, that's all Tony Scott, right?
Yeah, I know.
I love the way they shoot the lasers of the guns. It's just that.
Well, this is
Yeah,
the scene I was
he
talking
shoots-
about earlier. Sorry, I was just gonna say
Finish.
this is the scene I was talking about earlier, where he basically says that this guy fucked up the robbery. But anyway, go ahead, Red Shirt. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just reminded. Yeah, he's like, oh, I could do this, and he shoots, but except it's a laser range. He puts holes in the back wall. It's not built to stop bullets. And
It's
he's
like shooting guns
oh,
in the house.
yeah. Oh.
Yeah, he hears gun range and he figures, typical gun range. Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
Hey, War Monkey. I liked the new Fletch film, but I felt that it didn't have the impact of a new film should. So I don't think we're going to see.
Well, it was just kind
Ham.
of dumped. That was the other problem.
It was dumped onto home video on demand.
Well, I think it got a very limited theatrical release.
Did it? I don't remember.
I don't even know if it did, but I know they just kind of dumped it out.
And I enjoyed the film. I chuckled at it a few times, but I don't think it's got the power to get us another one. And I do think that Ham should have played him a little more differently. And, I don't want him to imitate Chevy Chase or anything, but I felt like they needed to write in some more of the sneaky comedy thing that he does. And it was almost like they were afraid to. They were timid with the comedy.
So how long does it take you to shave those legs?
Hour each leg.
Goodbye, Mr. Foley. I guess that's my cue.
He's so tall, Anima would fit in her hair.
Oh my god!
What's funny is thinking
I
about
can't
slide
believe
dating
you
her.
fucking
my
say
God.
that.
She would be Kevin Bacon's ideal girlfriend from Tremors. Because the legs
Right?
go all the way up.
What's even funnier is thinking about Sly dating her because Eddie Murphy and Sly are about
Dating?
the same height.
He married her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dating. Did I say? Yeah, I meant married. Yeah. Well, just being with her in general or whatever, because she's like towering over him. Because let's be real, guys. I don't know if you know this or not. Sly's not very tall either. Eddie and Sly are both about 5'8", 5'9". Yeah.
Yeah, that was the challenge in Rocky, was to find somebody who looked like a heavyweight but was the size of a middleweight. Because Stallone isn't large enough to be a heavyweight.
Yeah, he basically makes Carl Weathers look a foot taller than you.
Yeah.
But Jason Momoa has the opposite problem. It's always so difficult to find someone looking even more impressing than Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Because that guy's fucking giant.
Well, that's why I couldn't believe that Tom Cruise actually went up against Henry Cavill. It's like, dude, he's gonna dwarf you. Like,
Yeah.
and if you watch the movie, you see how they
admittedly,
cheated
that's
a lot
one
of
of the
it.
greatest action scenes, fight scenes.
It
in a
is, but
movie.
you can tell how they cheated it if you know anything about filmmaking. It's like all forced perspective and
Yeah.
shot in a way that makes Cavill look the same height or whatever and same size as Tom. And it's like, no way. No way, because Cavill's almost at least half a foot or so more taller than Tom Cruise, at least, if not more. You can't stand on apple
Tom
boxes
Cruise-
to fight.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is, shall we say, short.
Don't
Well,
shoot
he's
nobody.
I call him TT, Tiny Tom.
Actually, when he was filming the action scenes for that Mission Impossible movie that played in Vienna, in the Vienna State Opera, I was on my way home and there was so many people. So I stopped and asked a group of girls what's happening. And they're like, yeah, Tom Cruise is filming action scenes. And you could see all these people on the roof climbing around, walking around. And he was just so distinctively shorter than anybody else. It could have been a kid up there. It could have been a kid up there. And that's how we knew that it was really him and not a stuntman. Because there was one person so much shorter and doing a lot of stuff. That was
Here's where I would have thought they would have had a scene where somebody would have been trying to kill him at his place here, but then Billy and him show up instead. Yeah. This is how the fuck do you steal a house? It's my uncle's house. What I do like about this one too is that they show Axel doing a lot more detective stuff than he did in the first. I mean, he did some in the first one, but he does even more. Like the dirt, the other stuff. Like he's the one who picks up on the guns being rare, or the
cartridge.
Cartridges being rare and stuff like that. So like I like that stuff.
Figures out who's able to make one of those, because it's a hand manufactured cartridge at this point.
I've never heard this before, Tom.
The fingerprint. Oh, weird. I didn't know that. I was going to get to some of the other things that they did get to before they got to this. Because when Eddie finally did say yes, I didn't know about Black Rain, but I know they originally wanted to send him overseas. Like the original plot was Bogomil goes over to London or France for some conference thing and gets gunned down, and the boys got to go over there. But Eddie said, "No, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave California." So, yeah, so because they were trying everything they could to kind of recreate the first movie, like you guys were saying, and again. And I think Eddie's resistance to wanting to leave helped. And because otherwise, what are you going to call it? You can't call it London Cop or Paris Cop. Like, and that really is all you're doing is recreating this idea that he's a fish out of water again, right? Like that's you already did.
I'm
that.
reading it right now that was originally
Really.
Yeah, the film, which 2/3 of the way through, I realized was supposed to be the Beverly Hills Cop sequel.
Hmm.
That's
I
on
never heard that before.
stopbutton.com. I've never heard of
Interesting.
that either. That's amazing.
Well, because I know they
And here
kept
it is
trying
in
different
trivia.
things, but
On IMDb, it's on here too. Widely considered oh wow, that it was supposed to be the original script for fucking Beverly Hills Cop too. That's
Well, thank God it
crazy.
didn't happen, so we can
but anyway,
have 2 good movies.
I think because as Red Shirt was saying, because of that forced them into a situation where they couldn't just redo the first movie again. I mean, you have scenes that call back to the first movie, like they go to a strip club, but it plays into the plot, right? You have other moments and bits and scenes that are similar to the first movie, but they're not exactly the same. We're not retelling the same movie all over again. We're not reintroducing all the same jokes and tropes. It does feel fresh. What was that?
I just sent you the link.
Oh,
to the where it mentions it on IMDb.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
I had never known that before.
Yeah,
do you have an alternative name for a location in Europe?
And have Hugh Grant in it.
Oh, so maybe at one point they tried to take Axel to Japan. That wouldn't surprise me. Or they just reused one of the scripts where he was overseas and just changed the destination for Japan or whatever. That could very well be.
Yeah, the killing of Garcia upset me a lot because Garcia had just become one of my favorite actors. I was just like, this guy's good. Because I saw him in The Untouchables, and I was just like, this guy's awesome.
Well, and I love Marty Brest for the first film as far as his direction goes, but this one shows how Tony Scott was a perfect fit for this because the action sequence in this movie are great.
Yeah, he is
shot very well.
Opinion, Tony is one of the best action directors, period.
Because you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a weird. Is that here? Is this? Oh yeah.
Is what here?
I thought that was a shot from near the end. Maybe not.
This is halfway through, and I'm going to play the clip now. And here it comes.
Either one of you doing anything except traffic duty, I'm gonna have the both of you investigated and suspended.
Well, sir, technically this is traffic duty.
Technically, you're a goddamn idiot. Get out of here, Taggart!
Yes.
Jeez.
I love Taggart's response to him. Yes, sir. I don't care.
Yeah. And then a big part of this as far as like how Tony and Eddie worked, because Eddie worked more on the story and he did a lot more improvisation on this one. And Scott was somebody, I guess, who was really not cool with improv. Like, so he would be really like all worried about, the next day's shoot as far as action and what was going to happen. So he would get up real early and work on storyboards. And then he would have no idea what Eddie would come in with. So like he would just worry about what was going on with action. As long as he got all that stuff, then he would just let Eddie go off and do his thing. And that's where, all the laughs come from, man. I mean, just Eddie just being allowed to run wild with these guys, especially you can tell the chemistry with him and Judge Reinhold was great.
Absolutely.
Because at that time, Tony was definitely not comfortable with the comedy. He's like, that is not my domain at all. So, yeah. But I feel like this movie more so than the first film really influenced stuff like Bad Boys and, a lot of the Michael Bay type movies that we got later on. Big Al.
And wasn't Michael Bay involved with this? Didn't I not see his name on this?
No,
No. What's his name that he worked with?
It's Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. Yeah,
Jerry Bruckheimer is who I'm thinking of. Yeah.
You know where your dick is, Big Al. Billy's pretty fucked up.
I'm kind of in my head making a list right now because you said something that really got my attention, Tom, was like, one of the best sequels ever. And I'm like, I would actually love to just have a talk sometime about our top 10 personal favorite.
Well, I can throw 5 out right now. Like this one would be one of them. Of course, Godfather 2 is the easy answer. Gremlins 2, Die Hard with
The
a
Empire
Vengeance.
Strikes Back,
Empire
Godfather
would count.
2, agreed with you on that one. There's another one that pops, Star Trek Wrath of Khan, pops
Yeah.
into my head in my top list. RoboCop 2, I actually really did enjoy, but I don't know if it
That's
puts it in
probably
my top
underrated.
10.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could probably do another list of underrated ones that would be
Yeah,
on.
Terminator 2 would be in my top 10.
It's an obvious
got Aliens.
Beat me
Maverick
to
would
it.
probably fall in there. Yep.
Road Warrior.
Oh God, yeah.
Surpassed the original. It was so much better. And I love that when a sequel surpasses the original film, does an even better
Yeah,
job.
I mean, I don't know about surpassing. That's the thing. I have a hard time ever going with surpassing. Like, but,
Well, I think that the ones that you and I mentioned so far, Godfather 2 is the better film. I think that Terminator 2 is the better film.
See, and I'd have arguments for all
Spider-Man
those.
2 with
Yeah.
Toby. I consider that better than the first film.
I would still have little arguments for all of those that would be like, well, there's still bits and things that make the first film just a tad better. The only other one I might not have an argument for would be Empire Strikes Back.
Well, it's just the best of all the Star Wars films.
Right. And you don't have to have necessarily seen Star Wars to see it. So that's another thing it has going for it.
We owe that all to Irvin Kershner telling.
But like
George
with
Lucas,
Godfather, for instance, you have Brando, right? Like that's one aspect right off the bat, let alone a few other things I could come up with. But yeah, like just little things I'm sure I could come up. I love Spider-Man 2, and I could say, yeah, in a lot of ways it's superior to the first film. But I've never been a fan of Spider-Man getting, unable to get up his spider powers. Like to me, that just always is kind of lame. But it kind of works in the film. But just to have it be like this whole it's all mental thing in his head, just kind of weird. Hey, Scribbles.
Hey, Scribs here. What's up, buddy?
But other than that, yeah, Spider-Man 2 is perfect. X2 is probably the one other argument I could see for one that's better than the first movie.
Yeah, I agree there. By the way, I wanted to point out I use credit cards for this because if you've got a latch door, I can open it. If I can get a credit card in, I can get through any door. And he did the same thing with the flat-bladed knife.
See, and the problem with Gremlins 2 is you need Gremlins 1 to make Gremlins 2 work.
Yep.
Because it's funny because this is really surreal.
Well, it's also a parody.
What's surreal about it? Well, it's funny because I was explaining it to somebody. I said, look, you got to understand, Gremlins 1 is like a comedy horror.
Yeah.
Gremlins 2 is the Mad Magazine version of Gremlins.
Gremlins, that's right.
And I couldn't believe it. Joe Dante actually, he used those exact words. I'm like, no way he's listening to me, but holy shit, is that surreal? Because I'd never heard anybody, refer to it that way. Because I've been for years trying to figure out how to explain Gremlins 2 to people who have never really seen it or understood it or got it. And I found that'd be the best way to explain it. It's like, yeah, it's the Mad Magazine version of Gremlins.
It really is. It's pretty zany. Yeah. The film.
And Terminator 2, here's my argument against Terminator 2. Problem with Terminator 2 is it's the exact same fucking movie word for word almost.
Yep.
It looks cool. It works better in some ways. I'm not going to lie, but The only thing I'll hold against it is that it is exactly beat for beat, word for word in some scenes. The only thing that's shifted is you take Kyle's character and you give all his lines to Arnie and Sarah, and you give all Sarah's lines to John. You even have like different scenes that are kind of like similar scenes. Like, I mean, same scenes, but different locations and things. Like instead of a dance club, it's an arcade, right? You know, you have an even bigger plant at the end instead of just the small production plant they have at the end of the first movie. Stuff like that. The chase at the end is almost exactly like everything is almost exactly the same. But I love it. Don't get me wrong. It's a great fucking sequel. It's a movie kind of like this that doesn't break the mold necessarily, but in some ways it does by not trying to break the mold. Like
by not trying to. Dark Knight, actually, great one quote from The Raven, Nevermore. The Dark Knight film.
Yes, I can agree with that in a way. Because you almost don't have to see Batman Begins.
Yeah, you don't have to. Because it's it's just a Batman story.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. A lot of YouTubers have built off of that.
Yeah, Paul Reiser's big moment here.
This isn't my office. You're damn right it isn't.
When he gets up, he goes, "Wait, this isn't my office." I fucking lost it. That was so fucking funny. Like he was confused. Hey, Mikey's here.
And I love that he doesn't worry about the phone call that he makes. What he does is he kind of leers over at the other side of the desk, like, what creepy thing did he do behind my desk?
What the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck are you doing down there? Years later, George Costanza would be sleeping under a desk, and that's probably what he thought.
And what's funny is, you know what and I kind of always thought about this throughout the years, and the conclusion I came with what Todd thinks that Jeff is up to is because if you watch Jeffrey throughout the film, especially this one, I mean, he's obsessed with getting a date with Marcy. He's looking at Playboy. So I think that he thinks he's behind his desk calling some sex line jerking off or something. Because Jeffrey is obviously in need of some loving.
Hey, Mephisto, what's up, buddy?
He's probably thinking this white boy needs to get laid.
Yeah.
We didn't get to the truck chase yet, right? Or is that coming up?
No, not yet. But this clip right here, I got to go back to it because I looked.
Oh, this is just before it. Okay, so this is the racetrack.
Yeah, we're at the racetrack during the heist, and then we cut and we see the guys in the car plowing through parking meters, and I just laughed so hard because it's like everybody knows that those are steel pipes buried into concrete. Steel pipes, and you don't just plow through them. I always found that funny. It's like that parking meters do not work that way.
Those aren't those wands. Those aren't those fall over wands that they put to mark out certain lanes in a city.
Yeah,
they don't just bend over for you.
Well, Tony even talked about how he made his movies in like a surreal kind of world, right? But like that's where he was talking about the whole like, well, who's rating us? Is it Mephisto?
Yeah, it's Mephisto again.
Oh, hey, Mephisto. He even talked about how, he does things that are clearly not real and a little out there because it's a movie, basically, in so many words. But that's where he was talking about the laser beam scene. He's like, even for us at that time, it came off a little unbelievable. Yeah.
Hyper realism. I want it realistic, even if it's fantastic. But, things are going to happen.
He's going to bend all the rules all the time. Yeah. It is a bit hyperized, or whatever word you want to put there. That's not the word I'm thinking of, but authorized.
Oh, I love this part right here.
Jesus, Billy.
Anima cracked up laughing.
After the club, I thought I needed some more firepower. Who do you think you are? Clint Eastwood? Dirty Rosewood?
This is a really, really well done action scene. I really like
yeah.
how they pulled this off.
I don't
The
know if you
trunk.
guys could hear that, but we just had dead air, and then my cat sneezed, and he's very close to the mic.
Oh, I heard
so
the
you might have
sneeze.
heard that. Yeah, that
Is
was
that
so
what that
cool.
was? I didn't know it was
Yeah.
a sneeze.
I thought it was a
It sounded-
panelist.
I thought Anna
No.
laughed. I thought Anna
No,
laughed.
No, that was cat Loki saving us from dead air by sneezing into the
Oh,
mic.
I thought you just went like you were chuckling or whatever you want to call
That
that.
was not me.
Okay.
Hey, Scribe has joined us.
Hey, Scribbles.
I scribe.
This is one of my
Scribe.
favorite
Hi,
scenes in
Scribe.
the movie.
You
meaning to hit all these people?
I have a confession to make. I've never seen Beverly Hills Cop 2.
You worse than me. I just watched it
Wow.
before we did the show.
And truthfully, I can barely remember Beverly Hills Cop 1. I think I saw it once.
What?
I know. I'm an absolute communist. I apologize.
It's one of the
Hand in
greatest.
your nerd card. That's it. Hand in your nerd card.
I
The
know.
movie
breaks
where
yet?
he
I don't know. I
openly
haven't tried
mocked
them yet.
Michael Jackson in one scene, where you see the two people walking down the street wearing Michael Jackson type clothes, and he just laughs.
Yeah.
I was gonna do an article called "Michael Jackson Sitting on Top of the World," but I might as well call it "Michael Jackson Can Sit on Top of the World as long as he doesn't stay at the Beverly Hills Palms Hotel, because there ain't no allowed in there."
Yeah, weird thing was when I was a kid, for some reason, for a period of time, I copied my personal laugh after Eddie Murphy. Like I just remember like adopting the like that kind of thing, and it was a conscious choice. I was just like, I'm gonna laugh like Eddie Murphy because Eddie Murphy had the best laugh, and it lasted for several years. Then it kind of faded away. But
Well, this scene had some of the best lines in it when he's driving the freaking cement truck. It's like, that's a squad car. It's okay. I know that guy. He's a jerk. It's like, are you driving with your eyes open or are you like using the force? The brakes work? I don't
Jimmy
know. I
Carr.
haven't tried them yet.
The British comedian Jimmy Carr tries to laugh like Eddie Murphy, but he can't do the accent.
that's true. Okay, so for you guys who are like real big fans, how optimistic are you for the new movie?
I would have been
It
more
looks like
optimistic
it might
if I
be
hadn't.
fun.
Yeah, and looks can be deceiving though, because I talked to somebody who saw a screening of it, and I know a bunch of shit about it, and even Eddie and the trailers have confirmed some of the things I've heard, so I'm kind of leery. I'm hoping it's better than I think it's gonna be.
I mean, the trailers to me looked and reminded me of like a 90s kind of trailer, 80s, 90s kind of trailer. So it
They're
gave me
really
some kind of-
hiding his daughter though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
they
I wasn't
buried
quite
her.
sure about that bit. You know,
Only
it's weird
when he's in
because
jail is she brought in.
yeah, as soon as the daughter is brought in. Now was the daughter, was him having kids part of the original trilogy? I don't
No,
okay,
but
so-
it is set up in part 3, and it's, as far as I know, the chick that he gets with in part 3 is the mother.
Okay.
And they did do a pilot, which I got to watch thanks to Tom.
Yeah.
Where he had a son. That was
Okay.
the new.
But in this one, they decide to give him a daughter, and the deal is, from my understanding, is that the mother decided to stay out there and raise the daughter, and Axel went back to Detroit to be a cop. So he's an estranged father.
Uh-huh.
So
See,
all that
when I-
stuff's kind of being left out. Yeah.
When I saw the trailer and I saw the daughter suddenly appear, I mean, what little I knew about the series prior to that, I was like, I don't think he had any kids or anything. But my first thought, and I know this might be cliche, but my first thought was, is this like a Blade setup where his daughter's going to take over the franchise or something?
There is that possibility with Netflix. There really
Not necessarily. Here's the thing that I got from the guy who saw the screening, and I'm not trying
Okay.
to spoil anything for anybody.
Sure.
He said that there's a bunch of scenes, or a couple scenes anyway, I don't want to say a bunch, a couple scenes where the daughter tries to do some of the Axel Foley isms, like by
Mhm.
getting into like a place she's not supposed to be in and putting on a character and stuff. And he said those scenes fell flat.
No.
Yeah, anybody trying to imitate Eddie Murphy in a movie with Eddie Murphy,
Unless you
doomed
find
to
some
fail.
real funny kid. Like, I mean, the closest I could have thought it would have been better if they got like, and they'd have had to do it like what 10 years ago now, would have been the
Everybody Hates Chris kid.
maybe, or I was thinking that one guy who's funny that everybody doesn't seem to mind so much, Childish Gambino guy. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
What, Lando?
Yes.
Yeah, Lando. Yeah, that guy. That guy. He could have maybe pulled it off
probably
like
could
10
pull it
years ago. But
yeah.
Like, that's the thing is, otherwise just let that be. Axel's the kind of guy who wouldn't have kids. And the way it's kind of left is it is kind of set up for another movie, and they are already developing a part 5, and they did sign a deal for 2 films from Paramount for Netflix. So
yeah.
Hey guys, I
the
hate
way
to
it's
interrupt.
kind of
I have
set
to
up
play a
without getting
video.
too much into it, they do get set up to where we might get a movie with these guys all back together in the 5th film, but don't get your hopes up on seeing them together too much in the 4th film. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, I
I'm
got
really-
a video I got to play right now. Hold on.
Okay.
So this is because our friend Tim has appeared. He is here.
The diva is
Here
here.
is a special greeting that nobody on the panel has heard before, just for you, Tim.
By what name are you known? There are some who call me... No, now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now go
I
away
was-
before I taunt you a second time.
I was curious, how did Netflix end up with the rights to this? All things
Money.
considered.
Money.
Yeah.
They just paid for it.
Yeah, I think Paramount didn't want to take a chance, even though they probably should have, on putting it in theaters. So they took the paycheck.
Yeah, Paramount could have used the boost at this point, especially
they're in
the,
trouble.
The negotiation.
They're
yeah,
in
they
big
are.
trouble
I
right
mean,
now.
Just think if they had
Yeah.
released this movie this weekend in theaters, I think it'd have done very well, especially after
Yeah.
Bad Boys. The trailer was set up
Exactly.
in a way that I think people would have got out, because a lot of people are asking me, well, when's it come out? When's it come out? It's like, oh, you'll be able to watch it on Netflix in like a week. Well, now it's like 2 days, but yeah.
Could
3
you
days.
imagine a sort of Barbenheimer, Bad Boys, Beverly Hills Cop double feature kind of thing happening in the
I
summer?
could have, considering they should have run with the fact that, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I did post it on X. Eddie Murphy's son is either dating or married to Martin Lawrence's daughter.
What?
So when they have
Really?
kids, them are going to be the funniest damn kids you ever seen.
God damn.
Man.
Where's this movie?
Can you
There
imagine a
needs to be
battle?
a father versus father of the bride and groom type movie with these two guys, because they haven't done a movie in a while. Like, I mean, if this is reality, like, man, come on. And there's ways they were trying to come up with another movie to do together, because they haven't done anything since Life.
Could you imagine
But
a
yeah.
Bad Boys, Beverly Hills Cop crossover?
To me, they almost must take place in almost the same damn universe.
Yeah,
right?
they might as well. I mean,
they're both Jerry Bruckheimer films at the end of the day, so they're just two
Yeah.
different studios, unfortunately. But
yeah, if you want to bridge a couple of generations with that kind of thing, that'd be a great way to do
yeah.
it. Oh,
You the
well.
one
Well,
touching
just-
my daughter? I'm gonna touch your face with my fist. Boom.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is Eddie and Martin got such great chemistry, because that's the only thing that saved
Mhm.
Boomerang. I mean, Boomerang is kind of a shit movie otherwise.
Yeah, it's
Martin
carried- it's
saves
carried
that
by-
movie.
Yeah, it's completely. Yeah, the entire Boomerang was carried on the back of Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. There's nothing else there otherwise.
Chris Rock had some good moments in it too, but still, like, yeah, yeah. That was kind of the downward spiral after Boomerang for Eddie, sadly.
Yes.
Although I was
Remember-
very, very excited for Beverly Hills Cop 3. I should
yeah.
have known better, but it was good. I didn't hate it as much as everybody else. It's not great, right?
Remember
Well, I'm
Hol-
looking at it
remember
right
Holy
now.
Man?
The budget for
Okay.
Bad Boys was 100 million, and they're
original?
currently at 300. No, the new one, the new Bad
Oh,
Boys,
okay.
100 million, and they're currently sitting on 300 and a half
Decent.
$1 million worldwide.
All right. I was surprised.
So
Honestly, I didn't think the franchise had that much gas lift in it at this
yeah, I
point.
wasn't
And
interested in seeing it, but I was just curious, because you brought it up, and I'm like, I wonder how that film did. So it's not doing too badly. I mean, it could do better, but it's made its money back,
right.
and it's still in
That's the
theaters.
important part.
You know, since the whole thing was like 80s action movie stars, you know, imagine Eddie Murphy leading the next Expendables. Like all the other ones are like either dead or retiring. They suddenly bring him in to run everything, and you just do it more as an action comedy.
That would work.
Yeah, if you did like an action comedy Expendables.
Yeah.
Where you get Eddie Murphy and you get the Bad Boys and who else? I suddenly think of Running Scared, although Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. I think Gregory Hines passed
Gregory's
away.
dead. Yeah.
Yes,
Gregory's
Gregory
dead,
Hines is no longer.
You got to
with
bring
us.
Schwarzenegger back from Red Heat with Jim Belushi.
Well, you could get like Bill Murray maybe and Dan Aykroyd
And I got perfect.
all
one.
the SNL alum.
You got to get
Keanu
Bill Murray to
Reeves.
answer it. You got to get Bill Murray to answer his phone first.
Yeah.
Eddie and Bill have never worked together that I can recall.
That is bizarre, isn't it?
We brought this up earlier, Slasher Fred, that the association between Tony Scott and Harold Faltermeyer for Top Gun. But you were right. You are correct. I don't think you were here when we talked about it.
I mean, what other like comedy / action franchises from the? I mean, Lethal Weapon's coming back apparently. What else is left that they can try to resurrect at this point? Do you think?
That deserves it?
Yeah, well, that's a whole other question. No, not deserves it. Like, like what do we got? What do we got that the people are still alive? Like,
well, I've actually been working.
David Hayter's the Guyver. Why not?
I've actually been kind of working in this idea in the background of my head of a movie that it's kind of based around the idea of, and it's kind of similar-ish, and I'm not going to say it's not, to the Clint Eastwood movie. What the hell is the name of it? The one about the car name. Jesus, I just forgot.
Oh,
El Camino.
Gran Torino.
Gran Torino. It's kind of like in that vein, but not exactly. You got to think of it like a canon movie. Like if Charles Bronson was still alive, he'd be the star. Okay. But the whole idea is it's kind of based on this idea, you know, on every neighborhood, you had the grumpy old guy where you stayed out of his damn yard and all that shit like that. So basically you bring in somebody, whether it's a Sylvester Stallone or Kurt Russell or somebody who's at, you know, an older retired age action star.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie be called like Old Man or something like that. But basically, like, the plot is just like an old canon movie. Some guy wants to scare these folks out of their neighborhood so he can buy the land cheap and build a complex there.
Right.
So he pays this gang to start coming in and harassing this neighborhood. Well, the old man, as we come to find out, is like an old ex-Green Beret type guy who's not going to take their shit. And when he realizes the cops ain't going to do nothing, he starts kicking into gear. You know, so it's kind of like, you know, and he teams up with a couple of the other guys on the block and they have like this big all-out Death Wish type war. I think it would just be fun to do. Yeah. I think it'd be fucking a fun ass movie to do right now. Nothing that takes itself too fucking seriously though. Not like the Clint Eastwood movie so much, but like just a lot of fun, like the old school canon fodder.
I got a perfect title for you. 4 words. Get off my lawn.
There you go. Actually, I like that. Unfortunately, he says that, you know, and fucking, but yes, I know that's the vibe I want to go with, but I know everybody's going to be like, well, they already did that in Gran Torino. I'm like, yeah, but that was too serious.
Right.
Like, that's what I was saying. I wish Charles Bronson was alive because that's what you'd be like, starring Charles Bronson. Then you'd get it. Right. Like, I'm sick of these kids.
That was basically the plot of Death Wish.
Get off my lawn. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I want to make like a movie like that. But that's the thing is he was given free reign to go wild. You know?
You're letting me off the leash.
You're letting me off the leash. I know. That's the moments I wish Charles Bronson was still alive so I could be. Yes. Thank you, Read by Nature. That's it. That is it. That is what I'm getting at. That vibe. Exactly.
It's like you had so many bodies buried under your porch. I felt I should add a few more. Boom.
Well, and of course, it's the type of guy who has like an arsenal in his basement. But I mean, outside, he's a typical run-of-the-mill white picket fence. His wife died like 12 years ago. Ever since then, he's just been quiet. Don't talk to nobody. Yells at the kids whenever they get too loud. That guy.
Keep away from my guns. They're older than you are.
Yeah. But I think it would be funny if it was like Sly, because then you could just play on the whole Rambo side of it. Or if it was whoever you bring in, you just kind of,
Let's see. I did have a parody of action movie because you know how Liam Neeson, it's like he's always going on a trip or something else and something always happens. My joke of his idea was that he basically ends up getting a travel ban because anytime he goes anywhere, shit goes down. So they're literally trying to keep him locked up because they know shit's going to go down because it happens too many times.
Yeah. Actually, Liam wouldn't be a bad one for it either, but yeah.
And that's why I kind of
Schwarzenegger even
also
work.
defend for him. I defended him being in the new Naked Gun, which is a continuation. He's the son of Drebin. And I said, Liam is that kind of guy that plays serious. And if he plays serious with the silly shit going on around him, it'll be funny.
My only problem is
like
they don't have the
trick
Zuckers or
scene.
anybody involved. That's my problem.
Yeah. So, but those guys lost it too because they took over doing the scary movie films. And
Well, they were those movies were still the better of the films for some of them, but the Not Another movies, those were the ones that, to me, just kind of killed it. But anyway, we're not talking about Beverly Hills Cop 2 now because we just got past the Playboy Mansion scene where we didn't mention anything about it. One of the greatest scenes.
Well, somebody did
movie
say
of all
that Hugh
time.
Hefner looks so young in this film.
Squirrel. It's ADD
Right?
theater.
I know, right?
First film to be filmed at the Playboy Mansion.
It was, yeah. Wake up. This is what you've been waiting for your whole life. Look live.
It's like you think Hugh Hefner was like funneling all his money into the development of Viagra just so he could keep having sex till he died.
Yes, he was being injected with the blood of newborn infants.
I thought it was virgins.
Same difference.
Same thing.
By the way, I have a video for
Dude.
both you guys.
Oh, man.
Because the two of you brought up lawns, and I was going to see it for the end, but here you go. New video.
Get off my lawn!
Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn.
There you go. Yeah. But only picture that with a bazooka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is such a funny thing to do. It's like, how are we going to do this elaborate scheme? We're going to rob ourselves.
Because they're insured.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and that's part of what gets them caught a little bit too. But yeah. Well, this is where they get the racetrack. Where were they at before? That was the.
This is at the
that
racetrack. It's the money area down below.
Or they were just getting prepared before. We paused the movie. I know that. So. Goodbye, Mr. Kane.
You will not be helping Sam Beckett from now on.
Yeah, that's funny that we get a couple cast members in this from Dune. We didn't even bring that up. Jürgen Prochnow and
Jürgen and Thufir, or not Thufir. What's the character? Dr.
Dr. Kynes.
Yui.
Or Yui.
Yes.
Yui, sorry, pardon me.
Yui.
Yeah. Jürgen Prochnow is not
Stockwell.
From Dune. He's from Das.
Dean
He's
Stockwell.
from Das Boot.
Das Boot.
How's that German, Anima? You want to criticize him?
Can I just say something? You say boot, as in boot for the shoe. It's boot.
Das Boot.
It's an O, not a U. Boot. Yeah, thank you.
Also in the Mouth of Madness. Don't forget that.
And he was at
Have you read Sutter Kane?
Sutter Kane.
Wasn't
You're being Sutter Kane.
one of the John Connors for a couple of seconds?
I don't remember.
Jurgen? No.
No, Jurgen didn't play John
No,
Connor.
that is God, I can't remember the actor's name now, but I know who you're thinking of.
You look kind of like him a little bit. But
Yeah, because of the scars they gave him and stuff. Yeah. No, Jurgen's great because he can play either or. Like we were talking about Donald Sutherland being one of those actors who could pull off both good and bad.
Yeah.
Really well. And yeah, this is the first time I remember seeing him in anything, but that was because this is the first movie I'd seen him in as a kid, I think. But yeah, can you imagine my parents let me see this when I'm like 7, 8 years old? They let me watch the first movie when I was like 4 or 5.
Back in those days, yes, I could.
Yeah,
believe
that was nothing.
That explains a lot, Tom.
Oh, hell yes. Eddie Murphy was my favorite actor when I was a kid.
My dad was like that too, though, Tom. Because
My parents hated it because I would run around doing the bits from Delirious and Raw. Oh my god, my dad regretted it so much.
Did you do the dirty bits?
Oh fuck yes! I would do them in school. The teachers would. That was the funny part is we had some of the younger teachers that actually thought that shit was pretty funny, so they would sit there and they would encourage me to do it sometimes, and I wouldn't fucking stop.
Hold back. Yeah.
No.
Norton, I'm gonna bend over, and when I bend over,
you start fucking.
What you gonna do?
I'd use the F words, the N words, the F words. Both of the F
God
words.
bless America.
You just don't get more American.
Man, I'm
than
pissed
Eddie
off to
Murphy.
homosexuals. Man, I get off a plane, all of a sudden, a bunch of homosexuals come up and attack me. Be like, wee wee wee. It wasn't a siren, it's just on top of a car.
Right.
Pull over.
Hey.
Pull over.
Could be worse. Could have been the Hare Krishnas.
Oh Lord.
Oh. I'm old.
But Mr. T ain't the brightest guy in the bunch. Maybe I could use a Jedi mind trick on him or something. I heard you did some jokes about me. No, you didn't. I guess I didn't. I'm gonna beat up the
So I
fool
gotta
that told me
play this
lies.
video clip. I gotta play the video clip from this scene. So where the hell is it? There it is.
From the Rap Coalition.
Hey, you like rap music?
Yeah, I like that.
You like rap music? Well, turn around real slow then. I'm from the Rap Coalition of America. Take that gun off, throw it over there. Throw the gun over there. If you like rap music so much, how come you ain't smiling?
I'm smiling.
Smile real big.
I'm smiling.
And let's do a rap together.
Yo,
baby,
Yo, baby, yo, baby, yo.
baby, yo.
Say ow.
Say ow. That was in every trailer for this movie too.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
must-have as a clip, right?
Jesus, Billy.
I love how he's calmly psychotic. Like that's the best way.
Billy's kind of fucked up. That's one of my best Tanger lines.
There's the question. It's like it's always the quiet, friendly ones.
Yeah, you just expect him like there'll be one day where they find him on the street, he's just smiling. There's like 15 people dead, and he was like, "They attacked me, sir," and he's just smiling.
As they said on South Park, they were coming right at me.
They come right at us.
They're coming right
They're
at
coming
me.
right for us. Yeah, that's what it is, I think. Anyway. Well, I love that in the first one when he's all like, put your hands up and your weapons down. And then they shoot at him. You do that again, I'll shoot you myself. Because he loves just being a cop. He's a cop. He thinks he's Dirty Harry. Billy wants to be Axel. This is great. Wow.
This and falling down are like two of my favorite scenes. Just people figuring out weapons. Like, how do
Yeah.
Yeah, first time you ever fire an RPG in the military, they make you read the instructions, and there's even on there, aim weapon this way with an arrow.
Yeah.
voting forward. It's funny as hell. And that's in real life.
Oh,
Reminds me of
that's
Claymores
still
where it says
that's
like, oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no, that was what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, Claymore's this side towards enemy.
Yes.
Exactly. It's on
Great.
there. It is on there. This
Because
side
you
towards
know
enemy.
that happened. You know someone did that they were not supposed to with those.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like
Well,
warning labels on ladders and things like do not stand on top step or something. Some idiot did it.
Right.
That's why I love Bill Engvall's bits. He's like, they put those warning labels on there for a reason because some idiot did it.
Yep. Oh yeah, here's your
Yeah,
sign
every
with
single
some of my
weird
Here's your
favorite
sign.
jokes.
Well, it's every single weird law you've ever seen on the books is there because somebody did that in public. And in Fredericksburg, where I grew up in Virginia, there's a law on the books that says you are not allowed to walk your pet alligator down the streets of the city. True fucking
Well,
story.
every law is effectively a confession of human failing, pretty
Yep.
much. In some
That's a
way.
good
love
way
that
of
one.
putting it. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and McDonald's coffee cup saying contents may be hot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No shit, Sherlock.
The more we find out about the truth about that story, I still feel more worse for that lady. But yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, this is a pretty amazing ending here. It's really well done.
Yep.
And shot well and stylized.
And Rosewood.
Oh, the bad guy's gun
Goes
from
wrong, too.
Hollywood, the Desert Eagle.
Pooh, pooh, big old cannon.
Yeah, I held one
Women.
once when I worked at a gun store. I got to tell you, that thing feels like it weighs 13 pounds.
I think they know that,
enormous.
Billy.
Oh yeah, that's a big gun. Gerry can tell you all about them.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I agree. That is a big gun.
There's where Billy gets his balls.
Yep.
And it's a lot of people think it's an over-under barrel. It's actually just a single barrel. That second barrel is nothing but ammo.
This is what the alphabet crimes are about. They're not about money, they're about guns.
Yeah, I just love
Kiss
that
my ass. Kiss my ass.
the boss's boss shows up. This is what I love about the old 80s movies. Like, oh, you're fired. And then it's like, excuse me, they're not. You are.
I've had about enough of this abuse.
Oh yeah.
You're fired. I regretted it for 2 months. I'm gonna kick your ass later.
Yeah.
The name of Sidney Bernstein.
Sidney Bernstein.
Yeah.
Still one of the best scenes in the film, and I should have clipped that one because I fucking love that. What would belong in my left hand that
Could make it so you don't see what's in my right.
right hand? That's a great fucking moment.
Listen, I'm gonna get canceled for making 9/11 jokes later, so can we just hurry this up?
Yeah, and oh my
But
god,
everybody's gonna miss me when I'm gone. Trust me.
and I do because we lost.
We
him,
do.
and God damn, man, I loved Gilbert
Yep.
Gottfried. He was
Oh,
right
yeah.
up there. He was like right behind Norm Macdonald as my favorite comedian.
Jeffrey
Him,
wrecked the goddamn
Gilbert, Don
Ferrari.
Rickles, Rodney Dangerfield. God, it's great comedians we don't have anymore.
The crazier thing is, you ever hear his normal voice? It's like
Yeah.
not what you would think.
When he did his show is, you would hear
Oh,
his
yeah.
natural voice.
Yeah. Well, he let it slip a few times here and there too, yeah, and other things. But for a while there, he tried. It was kind of like the Pee Wee Herman thing, or he wasn't able to
Gilbert.
shake it like Bobcat Goldthwait. Yeah,
Bobcat, yeah.
like Bobcat was able to finally let it go, and people were accepting of it to a point. But then he just kind of went and did more directing anyway. But yeah, I feel bad for Gilbert because he could never really get away from doing that for his whole
I
life.
feel bad for him too over the Japan jokes, and I'm like, they were funny. They
Yeah.
weren't insulting. People's vaginas get too sensitive, man.
Sensitive.
Yep.
Same ending as the first movie. Drives off. Hey guys, bye guys.
But
Well, in this case, though, he leaves them to explain.
Yes.
Yeah.
He leaves them to explain to the homeowners. Oh.
Crazy fucking movie. We got some questions and comments, so I'm going to go over those that we didn't get to talk about during the show. I noticed how this movie is the only movie in the series which has an opening teaser. Slasher Fred. E. Clay Thomas.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Yep.
This was the third biggest movie of the year behind Fatal Attraction and
Yeah, I know, and it was still a huge movie. As pointed out here, it still made almost $300 million.
Yeah. If you guys ever see the movie Black Rain, yes, absolutely. I'm going to be checking that out some more.
Oh,
it's
Because
a
I am
great
fond
movie.
of that film.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask.
I did
the
not
panel, which of the
realize
Beverly-
that.
Yeah, I never knew that at all. I like to ask the panel which of the Beverly Hills Cops films is the best one. Mine is the first
one.
as it was the most important. Yeah, it is. Same here.
But the second one
Yeah.
is a very, very, very worthy sequel.
Absolutely. Do you
I'll
think
vote for the first one.
Beetlejuice 2?
No.
There's no
It
way
hasn't
it's going to be
even come
better.
out, so we can't even judge.
Well,
it.
I'm just going to tell you, there's no way it's going to outdo
Yeah.
the first film.
No,
I don't
no
think
way.
so. Box office
I
wise,
remember-
maybe, but
I hope it makes its money. I did remember Eddie Murphy appearing in Michael Jackson
Yeah.
music video. Yep, that's right. He sure did.
not only that, they
And
did
he
a song
steals
together.
a girl from Eddie. He
Yeah.
stings. What's that? Yeah.
They even
Same
did that song together.
What's that? What's up
What's up
with
with
you?
you?
Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
having a singing career. It's like what
His
6 albums?
mom being Clint Eastwood with a slipper always stuck with me. That was Reed. And let's see. Lee says the location shoots are very picturesque, especially with all the palm trees included, in which gives it that Miami.
He also
vibe.
used a lot of filters, like to give it that golden look.
That's a Tony. Yeah, that's a Tony
Yeah.
Scott thing. He loves using filters. He's also the first one, and he taught Ridley how to do the in-camera shake for combat scenes.
Well, and I really think that this new film coming out this week is definitely trying to emulate the second film a lot. From what I can tell.
I hope that it doesn't suck. I just hope it doesn't suck. I don't know if any people know this, but Gilbert Gottfried was once on SNL.
Yes, he was.
He was one of the crew that got fired, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't there for very long.
Yeah. The Elizabeth Bathory technique. I don't know what that is.
Well, it's when you take a bath in blood.
Well, the blood of virgins.
Oh,
specifically.
her. Yeah. Okay. I remember who he's talking about. I got McDonald's and you don't because you're on welfare. Yeah, I know.
You got no
That was a great
ice
bit.
cream.
I got McDonald's.
You're mixing the two, but yeah.
I have
It's
cheese.
sort of
We
like
got hamburger
on
at
a
home. I
stick.
can make you a burger at home better than McDonald's. Better than McDonald's?
Last
some
one.
welfare puppy burger.
Yeah, I know. It's that routine just reminded me of my own childhood because I went to McDonald's. My dad would make me burgers with bread. I'm like, it's greasy. Martin, what is the next film watch along called? When is it? Next Saturday. It's another because Tom's had to miss last weekend, even though he still
Wait,
showed up.
but
We're doing another
Monday.
Yeah,
Gary
my
next
weekends
week.
are all fucked up.
So are we still going to do next week still? Because I have that as Beverly Hills Cop 3.
We might.
Okay. So that's a might be, maybe.
You never know with Tom. He likes playing hard to catch.
Well, it just
Monday-
generally depends on what comes up on my weekends. Yeah.
MASH is the next film I'm going to cover for Military Monday because I'm still wanting to do stuff in honor of Donald
Classic.
Sutherland because he really was absolutely on my top 5 list of favorite actors of all time. I would watch anything with him. I'd like to do Clute one day. Boy, we're gonna have to watch the censorship on that.
The chief has that one in the pipe too.
Yeah, he likes Clute too. I think we even talked about that. Clute is one of my favorite films. I like the movie he did with Elliot Gould when they got back together again to do the Spies movie, which to me was done better with Spies Like Us. I think it's the better of the two, but I do like the movie Spies, which has Elliot Gould and Donald Sutherland. He's just a great fucking actor.
Super creepy in Backdraft.
Yes. He's got with the makeup and shit. Fuck, man. Real OGs ate hot dogs and burgers with sandwich bread. You goddamn right, motherfucker. I still do. Yeah.
What do we have coming up for Wednesday? Is it Rundown next week?
Midvoke?
Rundown.
Midvoke?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That is an underrated, and they're still planning to do a sequel. We had news all the way back into January of this year that they're still talking, trying to plan it out, because age doesn't matter with these guys. They're still good at what they do. And I like Peter Berg's films. I just do. He is very patriotic, and he loves action. He loves a good action film. He snuck in Under the Wire. You remember this shit, Tom. He made a war film without making a war film, so the studios wouldn't even blink at it. He made it about the FBI. But it's a war film. It is a war film, and it is on our list to I think it's scheduled already. I'm not sure when we're doing it, but it is a great film. The Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
It is a great war film that's managed to trick the studios into not realizing they're releasing a war film. Peter Berg's a clever motherfucker, man. And I love Patriots Day, the story of the bombing at the Boston Marathon. He made a really good film. We don't need no stinking buns. Goddamn right, man. I'm American. I'll eat mine on anything. One of my favorite things to do with hot dogs is I make homemade corn dogs, and I'll get like the cornbread wraps. You can buy them from Pillsbury. Only have 2 grams of sugar in it. And fuck, man, wrap your hot dogs with those. They're great. Homemade corn dogs. Tom, you have a favorite way to make hot dogs? How you like your hot dogs and hamburgers?
Hamburgers, I generally prefer on the grill.
Grilled
hot dogs, it all depends on the hot dog usually, but generally between broiled, boiled, or grilled, just depending on the dog.
I like it when it's done where I forget what
Brats
it's
generally
called.
grilled are better as well. Yeah,
Brats are the best. Period. I love a good brat, but I like when I go to Chicago or New York and I get one of those boiled hot dogs, but they don't. It's not normal boiled. That's not just water. What they do is they split some of the meat and put it into the water so that gets into the water.
That's what you think. It's just been the water they've been using all week. So Gary,
yeah, all week. That they get away with. It's still fuck. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Redshirt's laughing because he knows it's true. No.
I do. That's why I stick with the soft
I ain't gonna bother to
pretzels.
change that fucking water.
By saying brat, do you mean bratwurst? I'm confused. Confused.
Brats.
Vegetarian here.
We call them brats because they're short bratwurst. They're short.
Well,
Bratwurst,
the other
I just
bigger
wanted to
difference
understand.
is the type of spices and casing and how they're done here. Like
They do it
what
like
we call
sausage.
bratwurst are more like the classic German sausages, right? Like you would
You know,
consider.
The
they have-
longer sausage.
They have very
Yeah.
strict regulations, like Nürnberger Rostbratwürste, that is specific for
what?
Franken, part of Germany, and the length, what's in it, how
Yeah.
thick they are, everything is regulated. That's Germany for you. And
Yep.
unless you don't meet those criteria, you don't get to call them that. They are
Yeah,
very
and hot dogs, on the other hand, are pretty much like they're not as generally as spicy, and they're 9 times out of 10 like the entrails and other crap you don't want to eat anyway.
yeah,
yeah.
they're crap.
Co-
They are
no,
crap.
well, but Crocodile Dundee had the final word on New York street hot dogs. They taste like shit, but you can live on them.
Yeah.
Live on them. So, by the way, hi, Vinkman's girl. Gary's corn dogs are too fancy for us regular people. Actually, I kind of surprised my daughter. She had a bunch of her friends over one night, and I made corn muffins. and they bit into them, and they had hot dogs in them. And they just thought this is the best thing they'd ever had. They were like, "Oh my god, there are hot dogs in them!" Eating them. And I only get like my favorite is kosher hot dogs from was it Nathan's is really good. Hebrew National is really good. All beef.
Yeah, like that's generally what I get is either Hebrew or Ballpark Franks because those are two of the
Ballpark's
better,
really good too.
better stuff in them. But
Remember the
yeah.
80s ads? They plump when you cook them. Boop, boop,
Mhm.
boop. Ballpark Franks.
There's
Hot
various
dogs
reasons.
grilled and hamburgers. Well, like to do with them because it makes them way better. You put mustard on the meat before you cook it, like you like
Never tried that
it,
before.
and it
Well, what
makes
we
it.
would do is we would actually season the meat and put diced onions in with the burger too, and then make the patties and grill them. And there'd be a hint of ketchup and mustard in there. And they're actually really fucking good. You don't need to put anything on them. But I also like loads of pickles on mine. I don't know about you guys.
Well, yeah, it's that like what it basically does, as far as I can tell, is that it cooks all the any of the moisture out of the actual mustard with it, so you just have the flavor just on the
Flavor.
meat flat
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
And it caramelizes.
And
I was
with
thinking, yeah, the
broth, I put nothing.
caramelization was, yeah.
Yeah, caramel. A lot of people don't understand that. Like even when you toast bread, it's not really toasted; it's caramelized. But I wanted to point out that with hot dogs, I like things on them from sauerkraut to I love Chicago style. You know, I love hot dogs that got just a load of relish and mustard. I don't really care much for ketchup on my hot dogs, but when I have a brat, I don't put anything on it because the brat has all the flavor. Anything you need,
Relish.
it's
That's
already in the
same.
brat.
Yeah, I grew up with a major Italian population in my town, and what in Boston they call a Fenway, hot Italian sausage with peppers and onions. And they were like, "You want mustard or something?" And I'd be like, "No, just
Yeah, you don't put any of
just
that
the
on there. Yeah.
sausage, thank you." Yeah,
The
Oh,
Chicago
man.
style is really good because it's got onions, tomato, and what do you call them? Not banana peppers, but they're like banana peppers. They're pickled. It's pickled hot peppers, and
yeah.
they're on one side. The tomato and onions on the other, and you don't need anything else on that fucking hot dog. That is
No.
it. That is more flavor than anyone should have to endure. F you all. I'm hungry.
By Nathan's.
That's the weed, man. It's not my.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not
just
our
making
fault.
me hungry now. I haven't eaten yet today, so yeah, let's wrap this shit up.
You haven't had food, Tom, but I have delicious, wonderful food. Yum, yum, yum.
Num, num. Ever had a sausage wrapped in a tortilla with mustard? No, I never have. I never have. But that's it's just another bun. That's all that is. So yeah, it makes sense. Gary knows a lot about sausage. You goddamn right. I know a lot about sausages. Are you trying to turn that into some homoerotic shit? That's not a lie either.
No, this isn't Tuesday.
I'm sorry I have to go, but I will try to make it for Monday's MASH. Thanks for putting all my comments up. Of course, Lee. We're grateful you dropped in, man. And he really is. He's a very active questioner on the show, Tom. You need to start watching some of the stuff that Tom does on their channel because they've got a great channel. I mean, we jokingly refer to ourselves as the what was it? The
illegitimate love child.
Illegitimate love child of Doomcock and Midnight's Edge. And I loved it when Andre says, "I should have worn a rubber."
Oh, that was great.
So do you need to change your name to Edgecock?
Edgecock. I kind of like that. God damn it, that was good. I like that. But no, we were named. I'm proud of it because we were named by Graham Nolan. He gave us our name.
Okay, cool.
Because we had a little contest on my personal page on Facebook that that Keith and I are going to be doing a show, but we don't know what to call it. What do you think? And Graham popped on my page. He says, "You should call it Pop Culture Minefield." And I said, "Okay, everybody else can go home now." Graham won. I mean, that's a great fucking name. So we stuck with it. And then we start seeing these other pop culture shows popping up one by one. And it's not like they stole from us. We know they didn't. It's just great ideas pile on from people. People will come up with the same idea.
You can only do angry reviews for so long.
Yeah, and I don't, we were doing kind of that thing for a little bit, criticizing and trying to, but our big thing was trying to explain why this is happening, how it happened, and where this probably is inevitably going to go. And I still think that movie theaters are in trouble. I mean, serious trouble. I don't know if they can be saved. I think that this is going to be a slow, anguishing death of movie theaters because of the COOF. COOF killed them.
See?
They were already on a downward spiral before the COOF, and then the COOF came and just killed it. Hey, Six.
Nobody's
I'm not
deleting your comments.
Nobody would delete your comments. We love your comments.
She's a mod. How can you?
Yeah.
Can you delete?
Yeah,
other
you're
mods'
deleting your own comments. You just stirring up shit, Six.
I don't even see any deleted comments here on my end, but I don't even know if I'm a
No.
mod.
Well,
I
I'm
think
not,
I
so
made you a
can't
mod
see.
one night when you were on.
Probably.
So, Wild Man Beyond, Beverly Hills Cop 2 is getting the same argument as now with Top Gun Maverick, the sequel being better than the original.
I still wouldn't go that
Still
far.
iffy about that.
Yeah.
I think that Top Gun is a better movie, Navy aviator film, but Top Gun Maverick is a better action film. Period. It is, in my opinion, the best Star Wars film since Jedi. The first, the Return of the Jedi.
I'll say this too: it's a better written story.
I was going to
Top
say,
Gun.
Well,
I'm not as big of a fan of Top Gun. I don't like the first one as nearly as much as I like the second one. And it's really just because nothing really happens in the first film that affects anything. It's just stuff that kind of just happens.
It's a drama.
At least in the second film, the plot is being driven for a reason. Because it's just a bunch of stuff happening, and then all of a sudden, oh, we got to go to war. It's like,
And
Well, I
we may
got to
have
tell
caused
you,
World War III.
the third act of Maverick, they admitted, they outright admitted that they took from Star Wars.
yeah, but it works.
It worked. It absolutely did. They were both produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. What did Reed say? I haven't seen a lot of
that's
people in the
fine.
cinema for a while. Oddly, the biggest
Gerry.
crowd I saw was for a film that didn't do too well in the overall numbers. What film was that? What's Shinansky?
Oh, well, because that climax George Lucas took from the Dam Busters, even direct.
Oh, yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah.
No.
And it's funny.
Flying
we've got-
Tigers.
Flying Tigers is more Star Wars. And in fact, Anima, without telling her, spotted it watching a film where she says, "This is Star Wars." And I'm like, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Red 5. There's a Red 5 in the film too, by the way.
Yeah.
Red 1 to Red 2. Red 5.
I mean, it's still its own thing. It's just one of the. It's not like the Kurosawa influence that I acknowledged. I don't have.
By the way, I made myself hungry. I want hot dogs now, and I've got some all beef hot dogs I'm going to make. God damn it! Well, I haven't had breakfast, and I'm like, why am I talking about food? Fuck.
Me either. So I'm starting.
Kitty Bear said it.
Here.
Kitty Bear said it best,
Gerry,
man. Making me hungry now.
For a second, I thought you said you were Hungarian.
Yeah, sure. If you look at it very closely, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F is this year's Top Gun Maverick, according to the title and how the storyline is with Axel F's character, Jerry Bruckheimer involved. That's interesting.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose in title structure, but I don't know about. We'll have to see about quality.
Yeah, they got a long way to go.
Things like this are why we actually need new heroes, because eventually all of our 80s stars, I mean, it's been 40, 30 years, depending on when some of these things were done. Eventually, these people are going to die, and what is going to replace them?
That's what everybody's afraid of that loves movies. By the way, Tom, I thought you'd enjoy this photograph. Are you there, Tom?
Yep.
Here you go. I got 2 photos to share. First one, my buddy Paul over at Heavy Spoilers, poorly aged Empire Strikes Back promotion. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's fucking weird.
Not in Hollywood.
And this photo is so cool. You got Martin Scorsese back there, the
Yeah.
Irish actor, I forget his name right now, and Helena Bonham Carter drinking beer and eating pizza. That's a
Daniel
fucking
Day
cool photo.
Day-Lewis.
Yeah,
Daniel Day-Lewis. There he is. Thank you.
I'm
This
surprised
is just
he
a cool photo.
emerged out of his cobbler's shop.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that he's not an over actor, but he overemphasizes his what he's doing with his method. And I always find method actors weird. And
You
not
know,
in a good way. They're annoying.
Well, at least the end product is quality in every one of his things. I mean, behind the scenes, he's probably difficult to work with, but you can't deny what he ends up with on film.
I think the worst stories we've heard so far, though, of anybody with their method is Jim Carrey playing
Oh yeah,
Andy
Andy.
Kaufman.
yeah.
Yeah.
in Man on the Moon, because it's a great film. Don't get me wrong. I really did enjoy that film. I felt that it really
By the way,
captured.
you know why Martin Scorsese loves pizza?
Because
Oh
he's
my
Italian.
Yep.
That
Oh.
was not a quiz show question at
Why?
all. That was
Why?
No. That was not the
No.
$64,000 question.
Why, Shinansky? Why?
I was just guessing.
now. If you wanted to be funny, you should have said because he's Italian.
Italian,
Oh.
yeah.
My favorite method acting story is about Dustin Hoffman in Marathon Man,
Oh yeah.
when he slept on the
Supposedly that
street
didn't
for
actually
2
happen.
days in preparation for his torture scene, and Laurence Olivier looked at him walking into the set to be ready to do the scene, and he stank, and he's wearing sweatpants and a sweatsuit and track shoes, and it's like, what have you done? And he says, well, I've been sleeping on the street for 2 days to get ready for my torture scene. He says, have you tried acting, dear boy?
Yeah. And the odd thing is everybody thinks that he was saying that to be disparaging, but he was actually joking with him and teasing him. And
Yes.
they had a very good relationship. And they both came from different acting
Very
skills,
different.
because
Yes.
because classic actor. Because there's another actor who had a problem with method, and that was I believe it was Vincent Price when he gets thrown in a chair by Jack Nicholson in I forget whatever that movie was, Throne of Blood or whatever it was called, Roger Corman film, and he kind of told him, "Don't throw me. I know how to act." Because he threw him the first time, and the second time, and I think that's the one that's in the movie is where he actually did the acting. But Nicholson threw him into the fucking chair, and Vincent was not pleased with that. And he's spoken out about method acting. He thinks it's a horrible idea. John Carpenter's, yeah, John Carpenter and Ridley Scott are my two favorite filmmakers. I'm not going to call Ridley a great director. I can't do it, not in good conscience, because I think he's a terrible director. But I think he's an amazing cinematographer and filmmaker. That's all he really is. I think he's a terrible director. He only does well when there's somebody handling the fucking script other than him. And for Alien, a lot of people don't know this. It was the guy who was involved with 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy. I forget his name. He was an old cowboy.
Walter Hill.
Walter Hill, thank you. Walter Hill was the script wrangler for Alien. A lot of people don't know that. He gets like no credit, but if you're an Alien fan, you know that he was the one who kept Ridley on script. And the minute he starts fiddling with things, things start going awry. Because Ridley is not a storyteller. He doesn't understand structure at all. And that's why I've never interviewed him, even though I've had ample opportunity to, because I will end up saying something I'm going to regret. One of the things, like I just said. Yeah, he's a great writer and a great director. I love Walter Hill. And
Yeah,
I'm probably going to do a couple of films of his from the old days on Wednesday. Because I try to pick films that I know Anima can survive.
Yeah, you've never seen Streets of Fire.
How about you try to pick stuff that I actually like and not just survive?
It's not films that this is my channel, bitch. No, I'm just teasing.
Whoa!
Oh, I'm so sorry. I couldn't help it.
Whoa!
It's just joking, baby. Don't be
We
mad
need
at
to
me.
talk.
What do you say? I'll say it. Wrong kid died.
Wrong kid.
Oh.
Anima,
So
do you want me
I've
to
said
hurt
that
Gerry
too in the
for
past.
you?
Oh snap! Ridley's cool, but Tony was cooler in my opinion. Absolutely, he was the better director.
I'm
And what
a
happened?
Tony
I don't know
Scott
why
person.
he chose.
Yeah.
I don't know why he chose that path. I really don't. It breaks your heart because he was in the middle of negotiating, and they were greenlighting fucking the sequel to Top Gun when he did that. And it's just to this day we've never gotten a single word as to why he did that.
They
Self-ended
took
like
the
that.
note. That's all I know. They took the
They
note, and
kept it,
it's
and they
never
will
been
not
released.
make it public. And my worry is that he found out that he had the same terminal disease the other brother had that died.
That
I've
could be
always
it.
wondered if it had to do with that.
Yeah.
There's actually a kind of a creepy episode, especially in hindsight, of he did The Hunger as an anthology series.
It's still the only Tony Scott film I've never watched.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but at the end of one of the episodes, it's basically like this woman who finds, talented people and leads to their downfall. And the next person on her list that she's going to see at the end of the episode is Tony Scott.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. That's odd.
Oh, if you like David Bowie, he's the introductor narrator for the second
The
season.
TV series.
Yeah, in fact, the first episode of season 2.
I watched the TV series. I didn't watch the first movie. I'm just going to tell you. It was a little too gay for me. I don't like vampire shows that have a gay element to it. And so I'm like, just turned off by it. But yes, Deja Vu is actually a good film. I like that film by Tony Scott. And Wild Man, yes, we absolutely did talk about this. We talked about it previously too when we did Beverly Hills Cop, the first film. Tom and I talked about that. Cobra took this. He was negotiated. They wanted Eddie Murphy. They had Stallone, but they wanted Eddie Murphy. So they teased him away with this Cobra story. But what he did is he took his script that he had written for Beverly Hills Cop and brought it over and put it into Cobra. And that's why Cobra is his version of Beverly Hills Cop. Am I not correct in that, Tom?
That's pretty much my understanding too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was just because Sly's version was just getting too expensive. Because he kept adding more bigger car chases.
Big, huge chase scene. He wrote a huge chase scene into it. And they're like, we can't do this.
And he also wanted the name changed from Axel Foley to Axel Cobretti.
Wow.
So
Question,
he could
Tom.
be the Motor City Cobra.
How many times have they tried to do Beverly Hills Cop as a TV series? Because
was that a Freudian slip?
At least twice now.
Yeah, because Script Doctor reviewed the 2013 pilot they were doing, which never got produced, from what I understand. So this has just been a thing they've been always trying to do. Because I know,
yeah, and like I said, after the first film, that was what they were going to do because they couldn't get Eddie to sign on for a second one. But yeah,
I would say Michael Bay is the what's the best way of saying it? The saccharine version of Tony Scott. Michael Bay wants to be.
He's a guy who watched a bunch of Tony Scott movies,
kind of like JJ did with Spielberg and Lucas.
I'll put.
I can shoot scenes just like them. That just lacks heart because I don't understand how to tell a good story.
Michael Bay is a more coherent Zack Snyder.
Yeah, that's a good argument. No, it's a good argument.
True.
He is more coherent. Because look, I'm going to just flat out tell you, Zack Snyder. I was a fan of his when he did, particularly when he did Watchmen. I loved Watchmen. I loved 300. I enjoyed Sucker Punch, though it was not the film they advertised, and that was their mistake. That's why that movie flopped, is because they were marketing a different movie than what we got. But I enjoyed it for the most part. But then I started watching his other stuff, and I'm like, this guy doesn't know how to tell a story. He absolutely has no idea about story structure. He doesn't know how to tell the hero's journey at all. And when you're dealing with superheroes in particular, you better fucking understand the hero's journey. And he doesn't. He doesn't understand that. His Superman is off. It doesn't matter. Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman. It's still Henry Cavill understands Superman better than the director
Yeah.
and the writers.
The problem that happened to Michael Bay as far
Yes,
as
I agree with you, James. I agree with James. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the problem I think that happened with Michael Bay is he got too successful to where no one was holding him back anymore because he was being reined in, and he made great films, in my opinion.
Boy, this is a good comment because as much as I enjoyed Dawn of the Dead, the remake, I love the first film. It made more sense.
yeah.
It's a better story, better characters. It just
Better
felt
ending.
right. Better
Yeah,
ending. I hated the
opening
idea of the
s-
fast running zombies was just weird.
Yeah. The opening scene of Dawn of the Dead at that news station where they're just kind of like setting things up with like voices in the background, I think is one of the best apocalyptic intros to set the scene. And I think I've seen it in any other movie. Just it has a sense of desperation and dread to it. And there's nothing going on except people just talking, sort of giving exposition and such. But it's great. They kind of stole a little bit of that for the opening scene in Last of Us, the TV show, where they had the guys on the talk show, sort of like setting it up.
Right.
But there's more fear and encroaching destruction in that opening scene for Dawn of the Dead than most other post-apocalyptic films.
Well, there's some other great things here. Criticism of society.
Mhm.
Because malls were a big thing. That was my youth. My youth was when malls started, and malls were great. And he creates this great sense of the zombie-like behavior of shoppers with the zombies,
Mhm.
and the way they're wandering around the fucking mall. And he was doing that on purpose. It was fully intentional, and I thought that was great. And that's not what you get with the stupid. I don't mean to say stupid because I did enjoy it. The remake.
Yeah.
I
like
just didn't. I thought it was stupid to make them fast runners.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that he could use the mall because each store kind of represents some aspect of American culture. You've got the gun store, you've got the furniture store. Like each little thing ends up being a backdrop for some little element of civilization that is breaking down outside of the building. But you've got this little capsule that can be played around with for satire and commentary without really saying a whole heck of a lot. And yeah, that was the great setup for that movie.
Absolutely.
Dawn of the Dead is funny.
Wild man, I got to tell you right now, in response to your statement, I would much rather see Tango and Cash sequel. But I don't
Yes.
think we ever will because Kurt
No.
seems to like not be into the idea. But because Stallone tried to convince him,
Yeah.
we should do another one. Older, I don't know. And what it is Kurt's afraid of doing action anymore because he's at that age. Because Soldier, he admitted later how that really caused him a lot of physical discomfort and pain.
Really?
And he just doesn't want to repeat that.
Yeah. See, with Lethal Weapon 5 coming out, you'd think it's like, come on, guys, Tango and Cash 2. Just let's get it over with.
Fuck yes.
Come on.
I love that movie. As silly as it is, I fucking
great.
love Tango and Cash.
It's
I don't know
great.
about you,
Comic
Tom.
book, it's
Did
great.
you enjoy that film?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, the chemistry
I mean,
between
it
those
is
two was so good.
And I love
Like-
James Hong's character in it. And fucking, oh my God, what's his name? The overactor
Jack
from
Palance.
Batman.
Guldukat.
Jack Palance. Jack fucking Palance is so fucking over the top. I just fucking
Yeah.
love that guy.
Yeah, the whole thing was a video game. It was just a video game on film, and it was great. It was like River City Ransom or something, but just on film. It was great.
And I love the whole idea that Stallone's irritated that Kurt Russell's wanting to bang his sister. I just thought that was funny. as
Oh yeah,
fuck.
Terry Hatcher. Oh man, back when
Yeah,
Terry. Oh
yeah.
man, Terry Hatcher.
Bruckheimer has a lot of patience dealing with Don Simpson.
I was just amazed how homoerotic Tango and Cash is, especially when they're in the shower. I'm going, you guys are is this intentional?
I agree with you because I'm not a big fan of Anderson as a director. But this is actually my favorite film he made.
Event
Bruckheimer
Horizon.
had more patience than Simpson and than Michael Bay. Well, I won't argue with that. I think we've wrapped up. This is it. What did Kitty Bear say? Time to eat some German city dwellers. Oh my God.
Whoa.
So I want to thank everybody that popped in. Andy Morrow, Lord Thoth, Slasher Fred, E. Clay Thomason, Ham Dinger, Kim Chow, or Keely Chow, sorry. Keely, I always see Keely. Keely's like Midnight's Edge shit. I fucking see him everywhere. Soul Assassin, Glenn Fleming, Read by Nature, Quotes from the Raven Nevermore. What is that? Never mind. It's Shinatsky wrote it, so I'm just going to ignore it. Not because you wrote it, but because it's clearly not a name. Scribe Light, Lee Anthony Davis,
it's a
Kitty Bear, Mephisto's movie reviews. I love Mephisto. It cracks me up. Sorry, the cat's fucking with the fan. Vinkman's Girl, Deleted Scenes, Comic Relief Crusader, Wild Man Beyond, Six, also known as Sagacious Six or Jedi Six, James Hurley, Monkey Jeebus.
That is a name. Poker Ace 6666. Or the
Oh, I see it. Poker Face 6666. I missed it for some reason. So there we go. Thank you all for popping in here, talking in the chat. Monkey Jeebus is here. We got two monkeys. It's a House of Monkeys today. Wasn't the producer in True Romance based on Don Simpson? Tom, you might know that. I don't know.
Probably. It sounds familiar, or somebody like him, I would imagine. Wouldn't be surprised.
I think I just recently heard something about that too. Someone was talking about it. Might have been Monkey Jeebus. I don't know, but somebody's talking about it.
He's a big cokehead.
Because we were talking about the movie True Romance this week. Because I brought up Quentin Tarantino, and that I'm not fond of a lot of his writing, but True Romance is one of my favorite things that he wrote. And I think that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is his best structured script I've ever seen turned into a film. And I enjoy the shit out of that movie. And you know what? Fuck it. I love it when he bashes that woman's face into the fucking table and then fireplace. Fuck, that was great.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It was gory as fuck, but I fucking loved it. And I was chuckling. Anima even chuckled. Like, oh my God. Oh.
And she just doesn't stop. She is Fubar, and she just doesn't stop. It's great.
It's a great movie.
I'm sorry. Man. I like that.
Did you? Because I think you're a Quentin fan, aren't you, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of Once Upon a Time? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, real quick. I just remember, wasn't the character in True Romance based on Joel Silver?
No, he's based on several people, not just one.
Was he? Okay. For some reason, Joel Silver's name came to mind. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Are you talking about the actor, or which one are you talking
about?
No,
the producer character. The producer character.
Oh, it could very well be because, man,
that's what I was thinking more
classic,
so, but
he's a classic, typical Hollywood Jewish producer. He had that same way. And I love the scene with him where he's in the bar watching Dalton deliver his lines in that TV episode. And he's immediately on the phone selling him because he's like, yes, that's what I wanted to see, because he told him he was the one that kind of deflated his balloon. He's just, that's where actors go to die.
Phrasing.
What?
Deflated his balloon? Come on.
Oh, that's only because you're a pervert that you made that association.
Me? I am a pervert? Come on.
You have a perverted sense of humor. I'm telling you.
You
right
are
now.
German.
Yeah, fucking German.
Okay, we got a fucking clip for that. We got a clip for that, Gary. Play it.
Oh wait, what is it? What is it? What is it? No, it's gone. I already got rid of it. Yeah, I don't think it's on here.
You just made it.
Yeah, but I made it for the movie.
I told you to keep it for when people mock me for being German. Jesus Christ. Listen to me. Can you listen to me just once?
Jesus Christ, woman.
The things I put up with.
Oh my God.
And now the stream has an identity crisis.
So I can try to upload it again. I still have it somewhere. But,
forget it.
He better upload it.
It's too late.
It's too late to apologize.
It's
That's right. That's what I didn't fuck up.
Yes, you did. Again.
I never fuck up.
You do.
I just had a hiccup.
No.
No.
Gary, the word is always fuck up. I
Is
love you.
Shanatsky on
No,
my
the world
side?
fucks up all the
Yeah.
time. When things go right, it's when I do it. You think it's a fuck up because it's not what everybody else says.
Hey, Mayor, where are you, German?
That's the one.
See?
That's the one that got me. So we're out of here. Great weekend. I'm trying to see if there's anything I need to play for leaving. And I haven't missed anything. No. Do the typical outro, and we are out of here. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Bye, guys.
Bye now. Auf Wiedersehen.